Alright, and once again, we are live. Hello and welcome to our next sit down with. This is a sit down with Doug Reichard. Got it, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yes, excellent. Okay, so we've been trying to work out how to pronounce that name since I saw it written down. Doug Reichard. This is another TSN Armada online live broadcast. Your host right now, there's going to be me. I'm just going to be hanging out for this one because it's getting quite late for myself. We've got Kristen Barr who's with us. Matthew Vash who's going to be. It's more ideal time for you, isn't it, Matthew?
Just by a few hours.
And of course, our special guest, Doug himself. Doug is involved a lot with the Artemis community with producing the videos, many of which go into the Armada, the real Armada instead of this imposter version that we've got. I've seen credits where it says that you've been technical director, where you've been producer. I imagine you help out with some of the writing of the scripts and the acting as well. Could I say that, or are you just more behind the scene camera kind of guy?
Well, yeah, I do a lot of the aspects of creating the videos. But yeah, I'm involved in proofreading the scripts and taking storyboards and other things.
All right, cool. So all the videos that, many of the videos that you'll find on the Artemis SSBS YouTube channel, if you watch the credits, you'll see Doug's name appearing in there. He's kind of instrumental in getting them finished up, polished up by the sounds of it, and put online for you guys to enjoy. So I think I'm going to hand over to Vaj and I'm going to hand over to Kristen now, and hopefully they are going to be able to give a really good interview, and then I will chip in at the end to take all the credit for how well it goes.
So, same as always then, Fleet Captain.
As always.
Sounds about right.
So Doug, you've been doing stuff with Artemis for quite a while now. As far as I'm aware, as long as Artemis has been around. That's probably not quite true though. So would you mind telling us a little bit about how you got involved with Artemis?
Well, Mike Sipstelny and Tom Robertson were teaching at the Lorain County Community College, as I was. Mike and I and the professor created the games program that they have there, and then Tom came around and he was kind of doing a couple guest lectures, and then eventually he kind of took over the classes I was teaching. Students wanted to do it during the day. I could only do it at night. So I knew Mike fairly well and was friends with him and going to parties and stuff. And then Tom kind of showed up with a game once and started playing it. So I've been around from the early 1.0 days, and then when the Armadas rolled around, I did the canonicals, and I was doing video for them. First year didn't go very well. I just had stationary cameras and had to do all post-production, and we really didn't have to do that. Stuff.
We have some TeamSpeak problems and some strategy there.
Yeah, we've had some odd audio glitches coming up at the start of this, just trying to get it set up and running. TeamSpeak seems to be not playing ball, which, to be honest with you, is a bit of a pain because it's been running all right all day so far. So we've just lost Doug there. Hopefully he'll be back in a few moments. So from what I was getting, he was a lecturer at the same university as Tom, and Tom has come in, and he started taking some of his lectures and took over some of the lectures that he was doing. Oh, it looks like we've also lost Vaj there. Are we going next, I reckon? And Kristen, you'll be here on your own.
Yeah, I am the immortal.
So,
Cannot be stopped.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it looks like a lot of people have timed out across the TeamSpeak server. It's a little bit of a shame that we're having these problems. What I'll do is I think we might go to a break and try and maybe set up on Discord to bring this. And it might end up being a little bit shorter than usual. So bear with us while we just work out these technical problems. Okay, I think we are back.
There you go, thinking again.
There we go. Okay, the audio should be working. Give me a shout on the stream if you are listening in and you can't hear any sound. We're back. We managed to get moved from TeamSpeak, that just seems to be playing up at the moment, to Discord. So again, with me, I've got Doug, I've got Kristen, and I've got Vaj, and it's so much more difficult because you have your Discord names up, which are different to your TeamSpeak names.
Yes, they are.
So, where were we up to? Doug, you were saying about how you got involved in Artemis, I think.
Yeah, I'll just kind of restart. So, yeah, I was working as a adjunct faculty, and I helped create a games programming course with Mike and a couple other guys, and Tom came in as a guest speaker, and then eventually took over my courses. But I knew Mike and Tom, and through parties and other things, Tom started bringing this game called Artemis around. So that's kind of how I was first exposed, kind of one of the early testers, I guess. And then as far as Armada goes, the first Armada, I took video, and it didn't really work out because we just took video and didn't have a way of editing it. Had to do it all post, and it just, with a day job and everything, it became cumbersome. So unfortunately, we kind of just let some footage drop, and then future ones started using OBS, and then that was for Armada 2, but there was some lag and stuff from the video cameras to the game footage. So I scaled up, got some hardware, and then just kept upgrading my arsenal of stuff. And then eventually we started doing, well, Tom added video to the game or missions. And that's when I dusted off my green screen that I bought for doing lectures at the school, and started doing green screen videos and editing those. And then that started to filter into Armada with first the games, and then we did commercials and other videos. And now as we were building up to Armada 5, we did a lot of videos for keeping the community kind of excited about Armada and building up a lore that would kind of bring you to Armada 5.
Yeah, I've definitely taken a look at a few of them as well, and I mean I had a quick look at your channel earlier, and you've got videos that go back I think 4 years on there, so 2016 kind of time. And I mean, you know, there's been a definite step up in production value, and you can see that there's a lot of changes that have gone on. But before we get into more the kinds of things you do as a technical director, and before we start talking about the videos you produce, just a little one for fun. As a player and somebody who's also deeply involved in the lore, what's your favorite part of Artemis? You know, what's your favorite role? Where do you prefer to be in it? What's your favorite bit of the canon? Do you have any really memorable game moments you can tell us about?
I usually play helm weapons or engineering.
Nice. All well, as a fellow engineer, like you
I'm
definitely
a
get my vote.
software engineer, so and I gravitate towards there. But the other stations are all fun and have their nuances.
But
I have a lot of just great video memories from playing the test missions, getting ready for Armada, because we would test all the missions that Mike and Paul and now Darren are writing. The script missions, a lot of work goes into that, and a lot of testing, and just a lot of fun times doing that. I remember one time at Armada 2, being up till 3 in the morning as Mike was trying to script a special key for Tom for the final Saturday night battle. It might have been Armada 2 or 3. And we were doing calculus and algebra, geometry at 3 in the morning, trying to figure out how to make a circle of ships around Tom's super ship with the press of a key. So that was fun.
See, and I think a little underlying thing there that's really quite nice, and I think echoes throughout the Artemis community is that the game is fantastic and we all love to play it, obviously, but a lot of it and a lot of our best moments aren't necessarily because of what we're doing or what script is running, but more the friendships that you build up through playing the game, and a lot of people's best moments will be along the lines of, I had a great time because I was with this person and this person. We stayed up super late. We were both out of our brains, but yeah, we got to do this really cool thing together. And we have obviously clarified that engineers are best.
I'm sure there's a couple of people that might disagree with that.
Well, they are fully entitled to be wrong if they wish.
Brilliant.
So
I think that's a key thing about Artemis is that you make a story every time you play, I think.
Absolutely.
And Armada and with the videos, we're adding some canon to it, but it's everybody else has their own canon that they have behind it as well. So all these little pockets of the universe have their stories to tell.
Absolutely. But again, speaking of canon, do you have a favorite little nugget of canon? Something that it's like a particular race or a particular bit of story that you go, I really like that. That's super cool.
I can't think of it. I don't know how to answer that one.
Well, I mean, in a universe as expansive and lore-rich as as Artemis, how can you possibly pick one thing? So, yeah, let's move on a little more to specifically what you do and what you get involved in. We've already covered that obviously you wear a lot of hats. Like, it's very easy to kind of go, oh, he's a technical director, but we've already established you're actually involved in a huge amount of the process. But if we were to take, strictly speaking, your technical definition as a technical director, what are you supposed to be doing rather than all of the additional things you do?
Actually, now that we're on Discord, I made a PowerPoint. I can actually share that if you want.
Ooh, fancy.
I don't know if that'll go over the stream or not.
Do we have the capacity?
We have the what's the
I mean,
we have the technology.
If you can get it up, Doug, you can probably do a screen share. Yeah, just like that.
I think I can get a screen share going on mine if Doug can get it running.
He's streaming now.
Oops.
So,
all right.
I went into presentation mode. I won't go into presentation mode.
All right, yeah, I can see his feed, and what I'm going to do is I'll pop it out. All right, so I can see his screen share. I can see the PowerPoint presentation. It keeps flicking between a couple of things. I don't know if that's you doing that or not. I can see your mouse moving about. If you go onto the presentation mode, will that work?
I will try. How's that?
Keeps flickering between a couple of different viewpoints.
Yeah.
That's a crying shame.
Oops.
I love a good PowerPoint presentation. You haven't... Right, Doug, I'm going to ask you a very serious question right now, and I want you to be honest with me. You didn't put transitions in, did you?
No.
I was about to be very upset. I hate animated transitions. especially when
No,
like,
I have multiple monitors. I think is wigging out.
Oh, that could be doing it.
yeah, possibly.
So are you doing this as a screen share or?
I can switch to a virtual camera, but I didn't want to distract it too much. I thought it would be quick.
No, that's all right. I mean, if we can get this up, we don't mind running on a little bit longer than usual. Although now
Right.
Kristen's giving me the evils.
How did you know?
He's fine. He's fine to be up for a few more hours.
Yeah.
So don't worry too much about it at the minute. I've still got some video looping in the background just while Doug's getting that sorted.
Yeah, that sounds good. I actually have the privilege of being in a few of Doug's videos from a couple of the Armadas in the past few years.
I know you do because I saw your baby face. Baby faced Vaj.
Yep.
So, what rank were you down there, Vaj, on that one?
It's Lowly Lieutenant Junior. Actually, there's another video, Armada 3. I was an ensign, I believe.
An ensign, wow.
Wow.
Let's see if
what
I
kind
can
of what kind of a loser is still an ensign?
He says to the commander.
Yeah, I know, right? And the best bit is, I'm not even a full ensign. I'm still acting ensign.
Yeah.
Okay, so the rank system goes from ensign, lieutenant, junior, lieutenant.
Hey.
It goes up. It doesn't go down.
Hang on now. You forgot cadet.
Can you see my stuff now?
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I did post a link in the Discord to the video from Armada 3 that I am in. I'm the engineer on that one as well, incidentally.
Xavier, are you getting the display?
Yeah. So actually, that's interesting. Sorry to cut in, but
I think I am.
The first things I did as far as kind of like with video is like we had cameras just sitting there, and I think one of the crews, I think it was your crew, I kind of put a fake bridge around them the first year, and then the next year, I know definitely you're in that one where you're flying in the shuttle with everybody. I think with there will be monsters or there be monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one. Yep.
Yep. No, that's actually the one I posted. Was Here There Be Monster.
Yeah, that's one of the more popular ones, and that kind of started as like, hey, wait a minute, I could do this, and then I started using some of my other skills to kind of make these videos, and that's actually what got the ball rolling with all the video stuff. So.
All right, cool.
Anyway.
So I on the stream, I've managed to get up the thing. It says Artemis Armada Videos Technical Director, DP and Editing, Doug.
Say it right.
Reichard.
There you go.
Do you know what I keep thinking about to make sure I'm saying it right?
Reichard.
Reichard from Star Trek, yes. And if you watch the latest series of Picard, Reichard was awesome at the end of that.
They are like, yeah, all awesome.
Okay,
no,
yeah.
I'm not going to talk about this because we'll get even further off topic.
All right, so Doug, yeah, we can see that. I think we could just hand over to you and we can go for a coffee.
So you keep asking these questions, and I prepared this because I didn't know whether we were going to have a video or not. So it kind of worked out. We switched to Discord. Just talk about kind of the pipeline and where I'm involved. And you asked about the script, and yeah, I'm in there with the, editing the script, and we pare it down and things like that. And my laser pointer here. So we write the script, and then eventually we block it out to what shots these are, and then we go to a film day. Well, I'm sorry. First, we do storyboards. This year we did storyboards, so I use a tool called Blender. It's free software, and I bring little avatars of people to represent the cast, um, and kind of do storyboards and kind of figure out the timing and pacing of everything. And then we actually film. We film in Mike's dining room with a green screen. It's amazing that these videos, it's low budget, $0. It's the cost of feeding people.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of those videos. I recognize a couple of faces from the videos, and to see how you've got it all set up, it's amazing. You would not think that that is the actual scene that you're filming when you actually watch it on the YouTube channel. That's pretty cool stuff that you're managing to do, to be honest.
And 90% of the time, if there's multiple people on the scene, they were filmed completely separately. It's very rare that we get two people filmed. Even with we had one where bounty hunters in the trailer were sitting, drinking and talking, and they were not active. They were filmed separately. So we shoot, and I have a Sony camera. We try to use a teleprompter when necessary. I have a separate sound system because the early videos, if you watched any of the videos where they were in-game videos, the sound was horrible because I was just learning. But I got a lot more equipment that makes it a lot easier now. So we film. We do that in December. It was a weekend. It's the last day of filming was a drag because it went till like 3 a.m. So, but we got it done. And then I bring it into another piece of software called DaVinci Resolve, which is also free. I want to mention that this is free software, so people that want to do this, they can. It just, the price is learning. And usually what I do is I bring in the footage and I cut it out. I cut the green screen out with masking and stuff, so you get just the person. And then I also kind of edit out the video, take out any ums and ahs or background noise, and clean up the audio. And then it builds out a nice timeline. But then I bring all those images out, and then I bring them back into Blender. This is a new process I did this year. I used to just put a background behind the images, and it looked more cartoony than I wanted. So this year's videos, I think, are a lot better because it's kind of the inverse of the Mandalorian process. Instead of putting people in front of the virtual environment, I bring the people into the virtual environment and place them in. And because it's not perfect lighting, but you can see that there's kind of flat lighting here, but then we can get some shadows and lighting, some effects to make it look like they're more in the environment. Any of the lights of the colors and bounce lighting can actually get on the actors, which give us a more convincing look.
So this looks like a painfully time-consuming project. Like like just the stark difference between those two images there, those two frames. From start to finish, how long would you say each one of these videos kind of takes time-wise, or even just the editing process?
The editing process for one video is probably about a month. So the fact that Armada got delayed was actually kind of helpful because I was running quite behind on the schedule.
We're hoping it wasn't quite this delayed.
So I hope I can get much better videos, and I was going to rush out for that. Go ahead.
So I was just going to say, if you're planning to get some even more wonderful videos out for the next Armada, I just want you to know I'm a versatile actor. I look great on camera. You can contact my agent. I can be a stereotypical British villain. This is fine.
So for the trailer we did like last year, which was like the 8-minute trailer that kind of some of this content is kind of reflecting.
Hmm.
We actually had remote shoots. We had David Trin in Canada. We had some people down in Dayton, the Gunganeer team. We had Ricky Castellano in New York. Did some, and we brought all those videos in, and I edited it from there. For these videos, it just seemed a lot better to, since there was more acting and dialogue. We didn't do remote, but you know, we've done remote. It worked. It worked quite well.
Yes,
So
I'm in, lads.
Yeah.
we'll
All
let
you
you
gotta do
know.
is make sure that you film in advance and don't do anything live because you never know what language you're gonna get.
Hey, I've been good all day.
Very true.
So
So far.
I don't know. I don't know if I mentioned this is back in the Blender. You know, this software I use for the storyboards, and actually it's nice because these are the same sets I use for the storyboards.
Hmm.
So
So was
doing the
this the one that
storyboard,
you were saying was the free software that you use?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Both DaVinci Resolve and Blender are free.
Oh cool.
DaVinci has a higher scale if you want to use multiple GPUs, but it does quite a bit at the free tier. So then once I do that, I kind of render out the images and I bring it back into, oh, sorry, forgot this slide. I wanted to point out some of the complexity that we can get with Blender where I couldn't get before, where I was just putting things behind people. For this shot, this is from one of our first commercials. We have Paul sitting back here. And then some of our old commercials I put on monitors over the bar. I was showing an
nice.
early version of this, and a guy, John Ambrose, suggested, "Hey, bars have monitors, so why don't you put your commercials?" So I did. Some in-game assets are here. So the Arbonian space station was used, and I think that Zimni ship model. I have all exported all the models so I can bring them into the software and use them.
That's really cool.
And then these are the cutouts. You know, this is a cutout from that old commercial, but this is that cutout that I was showing through the process. And this is covered up, but if you watch the video, there's a drunk alien walking around. There's a bartender, and then there's another guy. There's other things that I put in there. Those are all 3D animated. I used a site called Mixamo that you can get some pre-canned animation and drop them in
Yeah.
to give a little more background to it. We intended to shoot people in background, but we ran out of time.
Talking about that, I was watching a video and I was watching the foreground action with somebody speaking on it, and then I noticed out the corner of my eye in the background a white figure just dancing. It looked very random. I was a bit like, okay, somebody's in the bar having fun there. But it was just like those little extra elements that you can add to a video, kind of makes it a little bit more immersive when you're watching it and you catch these things. And I think that was like my second time watching it through and picking up on all the extra background stuff, and it looks like it's a very involved process and takes a lot of time and effort and thinking. So
yeah, I've learned a lot more, and just to learn more, I threw these elements in there. So hopefully I can add more and more as we go on. And, you know, just first I was originally just throwing green screen people into a fake shuttle, and that was just layers. And now I have the power of this full 3D package to be able to place cutouts anywhere I want to, and then used 3D animations and stuff like that. So I hope that they can build from there. I'm also proud of this set because I built this whole set. That's one of my models, rather than originally we were using assets from. We bought some assets for the original game videos. So.
And this video is the prelude to the Artemis Armada 5, isn't it? The one you're showing us now.
Yeah, this is part 2 of that. So
Okay. Well, in fact, I found that video. For any of the people listening who want to, as we're going through the course of this video, if anybody wants to see the finished result and hasn't yet already, I'm gonna put a link to it in the live broadcast updates channel. So once we're done here, go check it out, and then binge the rest of Doug's videos.
I just have the one more slide, I think, is just that after I put out all those images, so these people were filmed separately. Again, there's a 3D animated, couple of 3D animated characters just chatting or drinking in the background. Another in-game ship brought in the background there. But anyway, this is just a static image now rendered from Blender, and then I bring it back into DaVinci Resolve. Those DaVinci Resolve EM. Put them all in the timeline, resync their sound, lay down the music and other sound effects and stuff like that. And then I do a final render. Oh, and then of course I do the titles too. The titles were also done in Blender and then brought into DaVinci Resolve. So that's kind of the whole process. And so from script to storyboards, that was like September to December was scripting and storyboard, or final script and storyboarding. Filmed in December. I have a couple of weeks off in December that I get a good part going, cutting out the green screens, and then I would say it takes about a month to do these. They're taking longer because I'm able to do more, and I want to be able to push it a little more. So hopefully they're getting better. But my point of, I'm glad I was able to do this PowerPoint because I wanted to show that these are free tools that people can get off the shelf. You just get a green screen, you get a camera, and you can make these videos yourselves. The other thing I did was the live episodes. I'm going to stop sharing my. Well, I'll just leave my video going. You can choose to show a black screen or not. But
sorry, I've got a video loop in the background that I've just transitioned back to. So don't worry about it.
Armada 4, we actually had a full room at the hotel, not a ballroom, but like a conference room. And we had two 20-foot green screens so that we could have 6 people in front of the green screen. And I used OBS in that instance, another free piece of software with a lot of people are probably familiar with.
Yeah, it's what I'm using right now to broadcast this up to YouTube.
So with OBS, I was able to slice up I had 3 people I had 2 cameras, 3 people on each camera. I was able to slice them up and then put them actually in a virtual spaceship. The green screen effect wasn't as good as you can do in post-production, but it was kind of a fun thing where at Armada, you can go to this room, run a GM mission, and your crew would be on this virtual spaceship. So those episodes are up on the channel as well. And that's something I probably would be willing to share how I did that if people want to do that too. That was quite a technical challenge to get that working, but it's a fun thing.
So do you know the Armada like debriefs after they've done the mission, and then you sat down with a couple? I think you had Verok from the TSN there. Vaj has done it. Are you the guy who then makes sure everything's set up for video in that?
Yeah, I did those as well. I did the camera work and of course the post production to do that. We always tried to shoot them 2 ways: one in character and then a kind of a out of character, so as themselves. So some of the videos actually had different backgrounds and tried to make it look like it was an interview, like they were on a press junket when they were actually being themselves. So those were after the canonical battles where Mike would write a script and they would fly the mission, and whatever happened in that mission that became canon. And so, yeah, we interviewed the people afterwards in those two different aspects.
Raj's just posted up the 2 videos of himself in the live broadcast updates for you to take a look at as well that were filmed, that we've just been
Babyface
talking about.
Vash.
Yeah. So I mean, as somebody who can't make it to the Armada, because obviously it's it would be quite an effort for me to try and get there, and the timing isn't ideal for when it lies in the year for me. It's
You say
really
that.
great to be able to jump onto the Artemis channel and be able to see these videos and actually put some faces to voices, which is something that I've been able to do through those videos, and the amount of effort that goes into them and the production, the length of time. I never realized it took such a long amount of time to go through them and get them all ready.
Mm. I mean, these are also. It's very clear that that these are definite passion projects. Like, there's a lot of hard work that goes into them, and it does come through. And there's definitely a lot of love for the community evidenced in these videos. Also, Xavier, you say that it's inconvenient, but I'm calling it now. The next Armada in 2021, possibly. I reckon there should be a Brit invasion. I reckon we should cross the water, show up, represent. I'm not hearing an objection, so pack your bags, boyo.
I'm trying to think how it would work with a 6-month-old child on an aeroplane.
I mean, you don't have to bring your child. It's fine.
Just leave them. Be
Yeah,
fine.
absolutely.
Leave food by the thing
Yeah.
with a bowl next to it, kind of thing.
Just open up a can of dog food. That's what they eat, right? And then just leave it there, and then off you go.
We are now moving off track. Let's have a look. So, if somebody wanted to try out these videos and try a little bit of editing, have you got any tips, tricks, any little bits of things that you wish you'd known before you started? With like, I know you mentioned some of the software in there. Any bits of advice for those people wanting to create their own videos and to go to this kind of level of production? What do you think?
Sound is important, and I'm sitting here listening, and I just want to make sure that I don't do this alone. There's a lot of people that help me behind the scenes too. Of course, the people that write the script. There's Mark and Paul both working the script as directors. A lot of the people there that helping in the production of stuff as well. But as far as if people wanted to do this stuff on their own, I think sound is something that is it's taken me years to understand sound. I could do green screens way before I could actually do good sound, and I think that's an important aspect. Having a good solid script. I think doing the storyboarding up front is which we tried to do more this year, really is helpful. And just learn the tools and learn the process of doing, having shot lists and all the people, having someone responsible for sound, someone for continuity and stuff like that. It's important.
So a lot of preparation, a lot of learning, and find some friends to help you out, because it's a really hard thing to do on your own.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like you said, it's a passion project. It's a passion project for everybody involved. We have everybody does it for free. There's everybody that acts in it, everybody that helps behind the scenes and behind the camera. Everybody's doing it as a passion project.
Mm-hmm. So that's why we're all here,
Right? Yeah, that's why you're having your own Armada on. All the people that are in there as well. I have like the tagline at the end of the lead up to these videos is to be part of the story. I think it is.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to have that in there because I think that that's my takeaway from talking to everybody that comes to Armada is that's what they want. They want to be immersed in their story. They want to tell their story. They want to be part of that story.
Mm.
It's a pretty cool feel.
Well, that can always be our. We can let you have the last word on this video, and that can be our closing statement. But before we get there, if you had to, if you absolutely had to, throughout the whole range of your videos, could you pick a favorite, and could you tell us which one that is?
So the one I chose to use the slides from, it is my favorite because I was able to put so many elements in. It's kind of like I've been learning this. I've been doing Armadas for I'd say 4 years because it fits the metaphor I'm going to use. It's kind of like I've gone to film school. I've gone to college, and this is my capstone project. And that second video, and hopefully the ones that I do next also show this, that I could put all the elements that I learned in, that my sound got better. The 3D animation I was able to do, the lighting effects, and hopefully the color looks more balanced. All these things that, they're probably not perfect, but I'm only one person. I don't have like the end game quality of hundreds of people working on it. But the second video, I really wanted to put a lot into it because it was that capstone project. So if I had to pick one, that's the one.
Well, I'm definitely really excited to see what you come out with next. Obviously, we're probably a little ways away from that, but yeah, I'm definitely going to be keeping a keen eye on your channel for further things coming out.
Yeah, and I don't know when I would find the time, but I've toyed with ideas of doing how-to videos for the live episodes and some of the behind the scenes. You almost see an outline in the PowerPoint I just did.
Mm.
And if there's enough comments and interest that show that that's worth the time, I put one of the storyboards, and not a lot of people looked at it, so I was trying to gauge that. But if there's people out there that want to make videos like this or like the live episodes, put comments in or let us know that that's what you're interested in, and maybe I'll try to put aside some time to make videos to help you do and tell your story. How do you want to tell your story? How can I help you do that?
That's amazing. That's and that again is just that seems to be a very typical attitude of the entire Artemis community.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that we're all so immersed in this storyline, in this universe, and in this community that a lot of very selfless people are going, help me help you get more involved, help me help you tell your story. And I think that's really, really cool, and definitely one of the finer aspects of people within this community. Yeah, that's super, super cool. So yeah, there you go, everybody.
Thank you, Doug, for coming out. We really appreciate it. Probably should wrap up here, though.
Oh, thanks, and I'm sort of glad we had a little technical difficulties because I think it helped let me tell my story a little better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, worked out.
Yeah, it was actually quite nice to get onto Discord and have that screen share up and be able to see that presentation. I really like that.
That was really cool. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Doug. Thank you so much for donating your time to come and speak with us. Xavier, do you want to wrap it up and take all the credit?
Of course.
Yeah, I thought.
All right, so as we said at the start, if you've not already seen the videos, head over to the Artemis YouTube channel. There's several links now up in our Discord channel. Check out those videos. They are really good production quality, and you can see all the time and effort that goes into it, the amount of time that it takes to bring it all together and polish it up and have them produced there. Like Doug said, if you're more interested in looking at how it's produced and you want to ask more, go on those videos, comment on them, jump on the forums as well. I'm sure you check out the Artemis forums on occasion, Doug?
Not as much, but I know Mark Bell or Mike would probably tell me if I have to jump in on something.
Yeah. So yeah, chuck up some posts there as well. See what comes up, because it was definitely something interesting to watch. Like you say, we're going to wrap it up there. This is our final sit down with broadcast for today. Tomorrow, starting at 1500 hours UTC, so that's 3 p.m. Universal Time Coordinated, we'll be starting our next live broadcast. We're going to try and broadcast some other games in between as well. But our next live broadcast is going to be about building the TSN sandbox, where you'll hear more of me talking and delving into the actual sandbox itself. And if I can, adding a new feature in there. I think, Vaj, were you going to join me on that one?
That's the plan.
Yeah, so Vaj is going to be the driving force on that one. I'm just going to sit quietly in the background and try and script something. So
You can just sit there and laugh at how much a nerd he is.
Thanks very much, Vaj.
To be fair,
Anytime.
you said you were going to sit in the back seat for this one. We could barely get you to shut up.
I did my best. I was quieter than normal. All right.
All right.
Thanks for watching, and we are going to tune out there. See you next time.
See you guys later.
Bye-bye.